Okay, we're going to get started with a handful of questions here. We'll begin with Ryan Aber, the Oklahoman, and then go to Joe Bettner.
Yeah, Jeremiah, I want to ask you about Theo Weiss and the role he's played in this offense, especially the last couple of weeks. What kind of growth have you seen from him, and maybe what are one or two of the biggest areas where he's improved from not only a year ago but earlier this season?
Growth. I've definitely seen a lot of growth in him. And where I've seen it most is really him without the ball. And what I mean by that is I mean blocking, and I mean just being in the right spot at the right times. I've always known that, we as an offense have always known he's a great player when he catches the ball and breaks in the open field and all those type of things. But one thing I've noticed is, he's been helping the offense by being in the right place at the right time, not just with the ball. That's one thing I've noticed. He's come a long way.
Appreciate it, Jeremiah.
Okay, Joe Bettner, Norman Transcript, and then Eric Bailey.
Jeremiah, what's it been like, from what you can tell, how Braden Willis has handled the time away from the team? How have you guys maybe handled his absence? And I'm curious if you ever, after a game, go back and look at his tweets as he live tweets the game.
I think during our practices and just him being around the facility in general, even though he's hurt, has been nothing but positivity from him. He's always bringing good energy to our room. Honestly, you would think that he's still out there playing with us from the way that he still attends our meetings, from the way that he carries himself during workouts. And you never see him hanging his head, But yes, I do go back and look at his tweets, and I laugh simply because I picture him saying it all in person. I'm just like, man, that's definitely Braden right there. But no, I haven't seen a drop in morale from him. I haven't seen a drop in performance in the weight room from him. I'm excited for him to get back on the field, and I'm looking forward to it.
How do you feel like you and Austin and Mikey are handling kind of his absence?
I think we're doing pretty well. Obviously, Austin has caught some balls. I have as well, and Mikey is somewhat in a pretty good position, simply because you don't ever want your players to get hurt. But with Braden being out, Mikey has had some time to get a few more reps, both in practice and in the game, which he might not have had the opportunity to get if Braden hadn't got hurt. So, yes, obviously we want Braden on the field, but Mikey's taking advantage of his time out there, and I think we're all gelling pretty well together as a H-back room. And you guys have seen Stogg step up. I think me and Mikey have been doing pretty well also. So I think we're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Eric Bailey at Tulsa World, and then Kerry Murdoch.
Hey, Jeremiah, when college football began in September, there were no guarantees that it would last. Now you guys are midway through a 10-game regular season. Did you think we would get to this point, and how does it feel to have 5 games under your belt?
Man, to be honest, I didn't think we would even get past summer workouts. The older I get, not just in relation to football, but in life, I realize that you can't take things for granted. You can't take your family for granted. You can't take opportunities such as playing at the University of Oklahoma for granted, and you can't take football for granted. So I'm happy that we have a few games under our belt, and hopefully we get to finish this thing out, which I'm pretty sure we will. And looking back on moments like that, Coach Roger always talks about, we didn't even know we'd be here. So why not take advantage of the time that we have and go out there and do our best, whether that be in practice or in a game. So I'm happy we're here, and I hope we can finish this thing up.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Kerry Murdoch with Sooner Scoop, and then Caleb McCurry.
Jeremiah, I'm kind of curious, with TJ having the games like he has the last couple of games, I know that probably does a lot of things for the offense and the physicality, but does it also do something for you guys at the H-back position and kind of opening some things up for you guys, maybe allowing you guys to kind of pop open here and there, maybe a little bit more than you have to?
Well, TJ has made it a priority to carry a little bit more weight in this offense. I know that he talked to us as an offense about that, saying that he'll definitely step up, which he has. And it does open some things up for the H-backs, but really the offense in general, because most of you guys know when your running game is going pretty well, that means there's a higher chance of safeties and the backers biting on play action, more chances you get a one-on-one on the outside receivers for Theo and Marvin. And, you know, when all those guys are covered, H-backs, tight ends, me, Stog, and the rest of the game, obviously we're going to step up. So with any offense in general, once the running game gets started, it pretty much opens everything else up because you have so many different weapons to worry about. And I think TJ has done an excellent job of progressing towards being better, and I know he'll continue to do so.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Bill McCurry, OU Daily, and then James Hale.
Jeremiah, do you remember the first time you met Austin Stogner, and when do you think it was that you realized he was going to be a big deal for the team?
Man, I don't really remember the first time I met Stog, but I do remember the first time watching him run routes, and I was kind of in awe because I was like, never in my life have I seen somebody 6'6", 6'7", cut on a dime like he has. And honestly, Stog, he runs better routes than I think many smaller guys do, you know, and that's special, you know. He knows that, our coaches know that, and even I know that. So whenever I see him out there on the field versus somebody who's a DB who might run a 4.3 or a 4.4, but they're 5'10", Stall 6'6", you know, we all get excited because that's a matchup that we want. And he definitely has the athleticism that not a lot of big guys his size, they just don't have it like he does.
And then follow up, how did the nickname Big Stog come around? When did it? Who started it, and when did that start?
I don't really know who started it, but it kind of makes sense. You know, he's pretty big, and his last name is Stogner. So put those two together, you got Big Stog right there.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
All right, let's go to James Hale with KREF, and then Garen Emig.
Jeremiah, with Spence, it's been great. It showed off your pass receiving skills because, you know, he sent you deep or your routes ended up going deep and he's hit you back shoulder and he's done some things. How much has that impressed you with what he's been able to do? And he also looks and scans the field so well that he finds you and will hit you with a back shoulder every once in a while.
Seeing him grow is fun to watch because he's out here making plays that you're just like, wow, did he really do that? You know, my back shoulder plays that you were talking about, I think about field awareness and how he was able to stay in the pocket and even think about making that throw. You know, I think about last game, TCU, where he's sitting in the pocket, looking to his left side, makes a spin that's absolutely crazy that you would think the play would be over. And it's just those type of plays that you see from a young guy. It makes you go, wow, he has the confidence to carry those things out. And I'm glad to be one of his guys that he's throwing the ball to. You know, it makes being out there on the field that much more exciting, and I look forward to the plays that he makes, especially when he's throwing me the ball, you know.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Garen Emig, Tulsa World, and then John Hoover.
Jeremiah, a little bit earlier, you brought up getting older. Are you now old enough to vote in the election? That's a week from today.
Man, yeah, I've already casted my absentee vote in North Carolina back home.
All right.
And yeah, I think my baldness kind of qualifies me to be able to vote, you know.
You and me both, my man. Listen, how important is that for all, not just you and your teammates, but guys your age playing college football, given, I mean, you guys are all really civically invested this year, right? With everything that was going on. And you talked about finding your voice. It seems that voting might be sort of an ultimate example of that. I just wanted to ask how you felt about that.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys saw, but Chance Sylvie released a video yesterday, and he was kind of talking about, you know, he's at the age now where he feels like that he can no longer sit on the sidelines. And when you have those type of guys next to you, you develop that same mindset. You know, you kind of feel like, man, like we're at the University of Oklahoma and all this stuff is going on. We can do something. You know, we may not execute it perfectly. We may not say we may not get our message across to everybody that we want to get it across to. Shoot, we may even mess up and say the wrong things, but I feel like, as well as the rest of my teammates and Chance, doing something and getting your thoughts out there to what you think other people should think as well is important. You know, just trying to make a difference is important, because at the end of the day, you know, we're the next generation. We're the next generation of people to take office. We're the next generation of voices, and it's no longer acceptable to sit on the sidelines. You know, we have to be a citizen just like everybody else. Yeah, we play football, but we have obligations as well outside of this.
Very cool. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Okay, let's go to John Hoover with SI Sooners and then Brandon Drum.
Jeremiah, that was really good stuff. I'm sorry, I just have a football question for you. But
No, you're good.
maybe it'll be a fun one. I asked Spencer and Eric this question about mismatches from the H-back position, specifically yourself, obviously, but the other guys as well. When you're lining up out there and the defense is calling out, look at 27, he's over here, or 81's over there, whatever it may be, and they're thinking that you're going to do one thing and you know in your head that you're going to do something completely different. How much fun is that?
Man, it's a great time, just because you know that you're living in their heads. What does Jaden say? Jaden always says it, rent free.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in their heads rent free. You know, they are consciously thinking about you, and as a competitor, that's just something that you love, simply because, number one, you're important enough for them to feel like that you're an impact, and number two, you know what's about to happen next. So it's definitely a good feeling.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Brandon Drum with OU Insider.
Yeah, Jeremiah, you were asked about Austin Stogner earlier, but I want to come out a little bit different. He's known for being really super competitive, and almost to the point of, he seems like and you can see it from where we are, he talks a lot to the other team, it looks like, and seems to be a chippy person. How often is he at like that during practice, and how much fun is it to be a teammate of a person that's that competitive and has that much of a drive that he almost gets into the other team's head with how much he talks?
I'm gonna be really honest with you. It took me a while to get used to myself, and I'll tell you how that came to be about. So when Austin first transferred into our room, I was just feeling out his character. You know, I knew he was a good guy. Obviously, I knew who he was, but when somebody's in your room, you get to know him that much better. And Austin would always want to take so many of the reps. And as you guys know, the previous H-backs were me and Braden most of the time. And so when Austin got in the rotation, I was just like, man, like Austin's kind of like messing up the rotation, but you know, we're just going to let him get in there because he's just that competitive. Like, he wants to be in the game, whether that be in practice or not. And I'm not saying that him taking more reps was a problem, but it was just like, okay, like this dude wants to play. Like, you can really see it in him. And I love it. I love it when he's talking to the other team, as long as he's under control, because you just got to, as a competitor, you just got to let that emotion out. You know, it took me a while to get used to, but it sure is a weapon on the field. And you know, I'm never going to hold him back. If anything, I'm gonna press him and tell him keep going. So, yeah, that's Big Stog right there.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and let's go to Keegan Renault with Sooners Wire.
Yeah, Jeremiah, you've seen what it looks like when when the 2017 and 18 and 19 offenses come together, and we've heard you guys talk about how close this one is. Obviously, on Saturday, you guys were able to open it up quite a bit, especially attacking downfield. Just how close do you really feel that this thing is getting a chance to really open this thing up?
Oh, we're close, man. We're so close, and I don't even know how to tell you how close we are, because it's not something that you can just pinpoint. You know, if it was that easy, we would have figured this thing out by now and have blown everybody out. But it's something that you can't see, but more so something that you can feel. And hopefully I'll be able to come back up here and tell you that we're clicking on all cylinders here soon. And I'll be able to tell you that we're up and going with a big smile on my face. And I'll know when that is.
You guys were running things on Saturday. I know Eric just brought up that you haven't run, 4 years ago. Obviously, the offense kind of took a different turn last year with Jalen, but it was different with Kyler and Baker. How do you feel like this offense is with Spencer? Is it, more the power run game, the throw down field, all that kind of stuff?
With Spencer, I know you can tell he's getting more comfortable throwing the ball downfield. Obviously those passes to Marvin Mims and the Rambo one that he could have had or was overthrown, I can't remember. But yeah, this thing is definitely opening up a little bit more, and it's hard to compare him to Baker or to Kyler or to Jalen even, because those are all different guys. Coach Riley has said it in the past, your offenses always need to be adjusted to your best players. And right now, Spencer's the quarterback, obviously. But it may seem pretty basic, but obviously the more he gets comfortable and the more he takes control of this offense, obviously the more we can open this thing up. So I'm doing my job to make that happen, and we'll see how this thing works out.